thank you to the speakers. I'm sure they did a great job. We'll now be taking questions from the floors, and there will be paper being passed around, so if you could just get ready to ask some questions. If anyone has a question, however, they would like to ask, voice to voice, if you could just stand up, and I'll just choose some people, inshallah. The brother over there. This question is towards Pastor Kofi.
Yeah.
What are you saying? You're saying that the name Jesus is not the actual word Christ is not in the Bible. Christ is not a title, it's the Christ. You see, the Christ means the anointed one, the one who was sent. So you see, Christ isn't Jesus' surname. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. I read to you Matthew chapter 16, and Peter answered the question. He said, "You are the Christ." So, as a title, it is in the Bible. Jesus is in the Bible. It's riddled right through the New Testament. The name Jesus is in the Bible.
Before we take any further questions, can I request a few of the gentlemen here to fill up the front seats first, and there's people standing behind. So if I can ask a few brothers here to fill up these seats, there's some empty seats here. Same with the sisters, if there's any empty seats in between, please fill them up. Thank you. We're getting a bit of a queue at the back.
I have two questions on paper, so I'll just ask them while people are formulating the questions. This question goes to Pastor Kofi. The question says, how does the Bible describe Jesus' prayer? For example, on Mount Sinai when he was praying, could you please describe that?
You mean when he was praying on Mount?
The Garden of Gethsemane.
Oh, in the Garden of Gethsemane. Or was it on, you said Mount?
I think it's before, you know, when he departs from his disciples.
Oh, you mean when he departs from his disciples? I don't know who asked the question, but I need clarity on that one because he did pray in a lot of places.
It was where he departed from his disciples.
Where he departed from his disciples and went to pray on his own. Matthew, yeah? So again, Matthew 26.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I get you. It's just before he was crucified, for his crucifixion. And the question is?
The question is, how does the Bible describe Jesus' prayer?
Okay. The Bible describes it as intense. And the reason it was intense was because, remember, Jesus came as man. Again, Christians believe that Jesus is the Son of God. But he came as man. He was going to take on something that was totally different from anything else anyone had ever taken on. And that was the sin of the whole world. And so, he went to pray. And if you read the prayer, I can read it to you if you want me to, but if you read it, you will find that Jesus says, if it be your will, let this cup pass me by. No, you see, it's not so much frightened from death. I'll explain this a bit more to you. You see, when man fell in the garden, our Bible tells us that when Adam fell, it says, this is what happened. Don't eat this fruit. For the day you eat that fruit, you are surely going to die. Man ate the fruit. Man was still living. What happened? You see, spiritual death is totally different from physical death. Spiritual death is a separation from God. So in spirit, man is dead. You're the living dead. You're walking around. You're separated from God. Your spirit is cut off from God. What Jesus did was take our sin. The moment he took our sin, he brought us back to God. He paid the price for us. It means that when Jesus was praying, he was not praying that he was going to die and he was scared. He was praying because he would be separated from God, because he was taking on the sin of the world. That's why he was in so much torment. That's why he did not want to go through with that. And when he did go through with it, on the cross, I know my brother Abdul here says that the crucifixion is debatable, but Christians do believe that he did die on the cross. And what we have in the Bible concerning that is that on the cross, he did mention, he did say, "My Lord, my God, why hast thou forsaken me?" Because you see, God cannot look at sin.
Can I just say something on the lines of Jesus and the authentication? Exactly what you said about the Peter. There is documented evidence from a Greek historian, a renowned Greek historian, Josephus, who authenticated Christ's crucifixion when non-Christian, non-Jewish perspective. So he didn't have a line to push any sacraments.
Let me just finish. I don't want you to say to Peter, but let me just finish this gentleman's. So that's what happened there. On the cross, that's what happened. He went through that for us. That's the important thing. That's where Christians stand. We're saying this is he didn't have to, but he went through it. Does that answer your question? It depends on what you want in the question, because
Okay.
I'll explain to you in a minute when
I think it's let's try a little bit to keep everything moving, yeah, and let's try to create a dialogue, hopefully, of understanding. I was really hoping that everyone would not come with books with quotations which they're going to throw at everybody. We can do that. I can do that if you want me, we can. But I specifically said to the brothers, I don't want to debate today. I don't want to debate. We need a dialogue where we hopefully can try at least to understand. I'm not accusing you of doing that, brother, but yeah. But it could go on a long time. So let's try and keep things moving. I did want to respond to what the lady said. Unfortunately, she left. It's a bit of a shame. However, two things. First of all, I forgot to mention a very important part of what the Quran says about the crucifixion. The Quran does say that it appeared to them as if this had happened. So the Quran recognizes that whatever happened, it seemed, certainly people it seemed as if Jesus had been crucified. Certainly the Quran recognizes that there is a reason for people to believe that Jesus was crucified. Now this epistle of Peter, actually mentions that one of Jesus' disciples actually took his place. He substituted the place of Jesus. There were other Christian, when I say Christian, I mean in the very broadest sense of the word, people who believed in Jesus as either a prophet or the Messiah in their own way. And this is before the times of Islam. Some of them believed that Judas Iscariot was actually made by God to resemble Jesus, and he was crucified as a type of punishment because of his treachery. These are early Christian groups believe this. This is pre-Islam. The Quran mentions that the issue of the crucifixion is controversial. It's something that the Christians don't agree about.